Imagine ancient Rome, a bustling city at the center of a vast empire. The streets are alive with merchants, citizens, and slaves, all contributing to the vibrant tapestry of Roman life. The air is filled with the sounds of commerce, the clatter of chariots, and the distant echoes of political discourse. At its heart stood the Roman Senate, a venerable institution that embodied the city's power and prestige. This grand edifice, with its imposing columns and majestic architecture, was more than just a building. It was a symbol of the enduring strength and authority of Rome. More than just a political body, the Senate was a symbol of Roman authority, its pronouncements shaping the destiny of millions. Senators draped in their distinctive togas would gather here to debate and decide on matters of state, their decisions echoing through the annals of history. Its story is one of intrigue, power struggles, and enduring influence. The Senate was a theater of political drama, where alliances were forged and broken, and where the fate of the empire often hung in the balance. The corridors of power were rife with whispers of conspiracy and ambition. The Senate chamber, adorned with statues of revered ancestors and echoing with the voices of influential men, was where the fate of Rome was decided. These statues served as silent witnesses to the debates and decisions that would shape the future of the empire. Here, for centuries, senators debated, conspired, and shaped the course of history. The chamber was a crucible of ideas and ideologies, where the vision for Rome's future was constantly being forged and reforged. Their decisions determined the outcome of wars, the enactment of laws, and the lives of citizens from the sun-drenched hills of Italy to the distant shores of conquered lands. The Senate's influence extended far beyond the city of Rome, reaching into the farthest corners of the empire, shaping the lives of millions and leaving an indelible mark on history. The Senate was also a place of learning and legal scholarship. Senators would often engage in private discussions, poring over ancient scrolls and documents, crafting laws that would govern the lives of Roman citizens. These legal proceedings were meticulous and thorough, reflecting the Senate's commitment to justice and order. The decisions made within the Senate's hallowed halls had a profound impact on the daily lives of Roman citizens. Senators would address the public, explaining their decisions and policies, and the reactions of the people would often be a mix of support, dissent, and everything in between. These public gatherings were a testament to the Senate's role as the voice of the people. The Senate was also deeply intertwined with the religious and ceremonial life of Rome. Senators would participate in grand processions and rituals, seeking the favor of the gods for their decisions. These ceremonies were a blend of politics and religion, reflecting the deeply spiritual nature of Roman governance. Mentorship was another crucial aspect of the Senate's role. Experienced senators would take young politicians under their wing, imparting wisdom and guidance. This tradition of mentorship ensured the continuity of Roman political ideals and the steady flow of capable leaders. Beyond the public eye, senators were also family men, deeply involved in the lives of their loved ones. Their homes were places of both political discussion and personal reflection, where the future of Rome was often debated over meals and family gatherings. The personal lives of these men were as complex and influential as their public roles. As the sun set over the city of Rome, the Senate building stood as a testament to the enduring legacy of Roman governance. Its walls, steeped in history, witnessed the rise and fall of empires, the ebb and flow of power, and the unyielding spirit of a civilization that continues to captivate the world. The Roman Senate was not a democratically elected body. Unlike the modern concept of a Senate, where representatives are elected by the people, the Roman Senate was an exclusive club of the elite. It was a prestigious institution that wielded immense power and influence over the Roman Republic and later the Roman Empire. It was composed of men who had held high public office, such as consuls, praetors, and censors. These positions were often stepping stones to becoming a senator. The path to the Senate was not open to everyone. It was a privilege reserved for those who had already proven their worth in the public arena. Mostly from the elite patrician class, these men were often wealthy landowners and influential figures in Roman society. The patricians were the aristocratic families who traced their lineage back to the founding of Rome. They held a monopoly on political power and used the Senate as a platform to maintain their dominance. They were expected to use their experience and wisdom to guide the Roman state. The Senate was seen as a repository of knowledge and tradition where the collective experience of Rome's most seasoned statesmen could be harnessed for the good of the Republic. Senators were often older men who had spent decades in public service, and their counsel was highly valued. The Senate's primary role was advisory. While it did not have the power to pass laws, its recommendations, known as senatus consulta, were highly influential. These pronouncements could shape the direction of Roman policy and were often followed by the magistrates and other officials. It could not pass laws, but its pronouncements, known as senatus consulta, carried significant weight. The Senate's advice was sought on a wide range of issues, from military campaigns to economic policies. Its members were seen as the guardians of Rome's traditions and values, and their opinions were respected by the wider community. The Senate held considerable influence over domestic affairs. It played a key role in shaping the laws and policies that governed everyday life in Rome. Senators debated and discussed issues such as taxation, public works, and social reforms, providing guidance to the elected magistrates who implemented these policies. It controlled state finances, oversaw religious ceremonies, and appointed provincial governors. The Senate's control over the treasury gave it significant leverage in political matters. It could allocate funds for public projects, military campaigns, and other state expenses. Additionally, the Senate's involvement in religious affairs underscored its role as the protector of Rome's spiritual well-being. Its authority extended to foreign policy as well. The Senate was responsible for negotiating treaties, declaring war, and managing diplomatic relations with other states. Its members were often involved in high-stakes negotiations and played a crucial role in maintaining Rome's position on the global stage. The Senate ratified treaties, decided on war and peace, and received foreign ambassadors. These responsibilities made the Senate a central player in Rome's interactions with the wider world. Its decisions could determine the fate of nations and the course of history. In essence, the Senate was the guardian of Roman tradition and the guarantor of its stability. It was an institution that embodied the continuity and resilience of the Roman state, ensuring that the values and principles that had built Rome were preserved for future generations. However, the Senate, like any institution of power, was not immune to corruption and internal strife. The grandeur of the Roman Senate, with its marble columns and opulent surroundings, often masked the darker undercurrents of political maneuvering and personal ambition. Senators, entrusted with the welfare of the Republic, sometimes succumbed to the temptations of power and wealth. As Rome's power and wealth grew, so did the ambition and greed of some senators. The accumulation of vast fortunes by a few led to stark inequalities, with the elite living in luxury while the common people struggled. This disparity was not just economic but also political, as wealthy senators used their resources to gain influence and control over key decisions. Factionalism became rife, with different groups vying for control and influence. These factions often formed around powerful individuals who could command loyalty through promises of wealth or protection. The Senate, once a unified body working for the common good, became a battleground for competing interests, each seeking to advance their own agenda. Personal rivalries often overshadowed the common good, leading to political deadlock and instability. Senators would engage in bitter disputes not just over policy but over personal slights and vendettas. This infighting made it difficult to pass legislation or respond effectively to crises, weakening the Republic from within. The expansion of Roman territory, while bringing wealth and prestige, also created new challenges. Managing a vast empire required more than just military might. It demanded effective governance and administration. The Senate struggled to keep pace with the needs of far-flung provinces, leading to inefficiencies and corruption. Governors appointed to oversee these regions often exploited their positions for personal gain, further eroding trust in the central government. The influx of slaves and the plight of impoverished farmers fueled social unrest. As wealthy landowners acquired more land, often at the expense of small farmers, the rural population became increasingly disenfranchised. Slaves, brought in from conquered territories, replaced free labor, leading to widespread unemployment and discontent among the lower classes. This social tension manifested in protests and occasional uprisings, challenging the stability of the Republic. Ambitious generals, returning from successful campaigns with loyal legions at their backs, began to challenge the Senate's authority. These military leaders, celebrated as heroes by the populace, wielded significant power and influence. Their loyalty often lay more with their troops than with the Senate, creating a dangerous dynamic where military might could be used to settle political disputes. The Republic's reliance on these generals for defense and expansion became a double-edged sword, as their ambitions sometimes clashed with the interests of the state. Rome's transition from a small city-state to a vast empire exposed the limitations of its republican institutions, including the Senate. The structures that had served a city of modest size were ill-equipped to manage an empire spanning continents. The Senate's inability to adapt to these new realities contributed to its decline, as it struggled to maintain control over an increasingly complex and diverse realm. The seeds of corruption and conflict, sown in the halls of power, would ultimately lead to the fall of the Republic and the rise of imperial rule. The assassination of Julius Caesar in 44 BC marked a turning point in Roman history, and a stark demonstration of the crisis engulfing the Senate. Caesar, a brilliant general and populist leader, had risen to prominence through military success and popular support. His growing power, however, alarmed many senators who saw him as a threat to the Republic. On the Ides of March, as Caesar entered the Senate chamber, a group of senators led by Brutus and Cassius fell upon him, stabbing him to death. They believed they were saving the Republic from tyranny. Instead, their actions plunged Rome into a new period of civil war. The assassination of Caesar did not restore the Senate to its former glory. Instead, it ushered in a period of turmoil and transformation. The Senate found itself caught between powerful individuals vying for control of the Roman world. Mark Antony, Caesar's loyal lieutenant, and Octavian, Caesar's adopted son, emerged as key players. The Senate initially opposed both Antony and Octavian, however it was outmaneuvered and ultimately sidelined as they consolidated their power. The establishment of the Roman Empire by Octavian, who became the Emperor Augustus, marked a significant shift in power dynamics. The Senate, while retaining a semblance of its former prestige, became increasingly subservient to the emperor,